Hi, I'm Heather, and I wanted to take a few minutes to introduce myself and explain why I'm here and what kinds of things I want to talk about on my podcast. I've been working in marketing, PR, graphic design, and the like for about 30 years. And then just a few years ago, I began a spiritual journey that was really by complete accident. Now, I don't really believe in accidents. I think everything happens for a reason, and this one was no exception. It actually started when I took a class that was supposed to help me grow this side hustle that I was trying to get off the ground. It was a mindset class. And the truth is, I didn't even really know what that meant or what a mindset class would be. But it was being offered to me for free. And I really wanted to grow that hustle. So I jumped on it and decided to try it. And the really interesting thing is, where I thought I would end up, where I thought it would help me get to, is not at all where I am. And I learned so much in that class. For one thing, I learned that I didn't want to hustle. I wanted to do something that was in line with my spirit and my purpose. And I learned what I really wanted out of life and what I really wanted my life to look like. Another thing I really began to understand during this time was my intuitive gifts. I began to develop them and use them to help people in my life. And that's something that truly I never thought would happen for me. Of course, when I was younger, I did what so many people of my generation did. I guess really any generation. I graduated high school and I did the thing that was expected of me. I went to college. I said, "Hey, Mom, I want to go to school for art." And my mom said, "That's fine, as long as it's something where you can actually make a living, not be some starving artist." And that was just one example of the typical conditioning statements that I heard from my parents, that I'm sure a lot of us heard from our parents. So I did that. I never became a filmmaker or an animator like I dreamed of for so long. I only sang in my car, not on a stage. And the truth is, when I struggled to let go in a painting class or in choir or really anywhere, I think that conditioning was sort of taking hold of my brain and my paintbrush. It told me to do the right thing and to not let go. And then when I started this journey, I discovered conditioning, and that I didn't even know what that was before. And I certainly didn't know how much it was affecting my life and the decisions I was making. So, needless to say, I got the degree and I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. I've done the corporate jobs that don't really fit how I'm wired. They're kind of difficult for me. I can't really focus very well. I tend to get bored. I tend to change jobs a lot. I think because I was trying to find out where I was supposed to be. Now, don't get me wrong. When it comes to this marketing thing that I do every day, the truth is I'm good at it. And I actually really do enjoy it. And I think the reason why is I both like and need to be creative. I also both like and need to help people. And this allows me to do that. I also find that I'm still sort of shifting into my alignment of who I am and what my purpose is. And I'm okay with that. I think it means I'm still growing. It feels like many of us spend our lives trying to understand why we don't fit the expectations of the people around us. And I guess for a lot of reasons, we never try to discover what our real fit in life is. But then something happens, causes a shift, and that makes you start your journey. See, I've taken a lot of classes and I've met a lot of people. And one thing I've noticed is the ones in the class that are on a spiritual journey always end up wanting to open a business because they find something they love and they want to just share it with the world, which is great. And the ones in the class that are there to help their business pretty much always end up on a spiritual journey. And here's why. Running a business on your own can be rewarding and freeing and fulfilling and all the ing words. But you know what else it can be? Brutal. When you hit dips, and trust me, you will, you start to question everything. Not just about your business, but your very existence. You aren't good enough. That one's imposter syndrome. Everyone was right about you and doing this thing was crazy. Yeah, that's conditioning. So, do you see where I'm going here? Working through those things, finding yourself and your inner strength, aligning with what's right for you and what truly makes you happy can play a vital role in your success in achieving all the ing words we just talked about. And that's one of the things that I want to help people do. I want to help them through that journey to find the life of their dreams. Another little part of this journey is that I grew up a Christian. I'm still a Christian. I went to church every Sunday. My relationship with God was solid. At least I thought. I thought I had this, love myself, strength thing under control. But the further I went, the more I realized that I didn't. And I believe that my conditioning played a role in actually keeping me from being open enough in my spirituality. Okay, look, I won't lie. There are things that I've heard people talk about or partake in that as a Christian and bringing my conditioning along with me, I questioned. But I've learned more and I understand more than I ever thought possible, more than I ever really realized existed. And I'm closer to God than I've ever been. And I truly believe that part of that is because I've actually allowed my mind to open up and I've actually allowed him in ways that I just wasn't capable of before. Hear me. I am very aware that many Christians hear woo and spiritual things and they are running for the hills. But the truth is, the parallels are kind of staring us right in the face, but we have to make a choice to let go and open our minds and actually see it. So these are the things I want to talk about in my podcast. The myths, not just of spirituality and how we're not so different, but the myths of business. And with a little help, the next steps aren't as hard and overwhelming as they may seem. Most solopreneurs I've met need help, and not just in getting their head and their heart straight, but kind of how to do this business thing, finding your thing and figuring out how to plan it and market it. But business isn't just about marketing and branding and social media algorithms. It's understanding your true, authentic self and then showing up as that person, not the one you think you're supposed to be or you've been conditioned to be. So, we're going to explain some jargon, we're going to clear up misconceptions, and we're going to discover that we're all not so different. And you know what? No matter what your background is, we're here to bridge the gaps between what you think you know and what you think you don't. Oh, and one more thing. This name, Ballyhoo Bridge. My son actually suggested it. I sort of fell in love with it. So let me explain. Ballyhoo means extravagant publicity or fuss. A bridge is something intended to reconcile or to form a connection between two things. So, let's make a fuss and bridge some gaps. I hope you'll join us.